Okay, so I've got my first page set up with the plans laid out the way I want. And now I want to set up another page for the interior elevations, which I've got here. Sorry, wrong tab. This one. And again, this would be a really good one for you to print out because then you can hopefully do a better job than what's here with the line weights. And so I'm going to show you that right now. And so you can go to a new layout and set that up the same way I've done the previous one, but I'm actually going to delete this one. So I'm going to right click on layout 2 and just go to delete. Okay, so I've just got the one layout, and instead of making a new one, I'm simply going to copy the one I've already got. If you've done all that setup with the page and the title block and everything, why not use it again? So right click on the tab, go to move or copy, and then just tick create a copy down the bottom. Choose move to end if you want it to go to the end, and I do, and click OK, and it's going to make a new layout identical to the previous one. And that's one of the nice things that AutoCAD will let you do that Revit, you'll see before too long. Revit doesn't let you do that, unfortunately, which is a bit painful. So it's always nice to go back to AutoCAD and have it let you do that. So my new layout, of course, just has that name layout 1 with the 2, so I'll change it by double clicking, and I'll call this hotel elevations, and then I'll double click on the previous one, I suppose, and make that hotel plans. If the double clicking isn't working for you, sometimes it plays up, so you can always right click and go to rename. Do the same thing. So I've got my new layout ready for my elevations, but of course at the moment it's still showing my plans. So I'm going to delete the viewport on the right and just change the viewport that's left there on the left. So I've selected it, just so that I can use the grips and change the shape of it. I know that I need it to be a different shape. And I'm going to double click to make it active. And then, this is the bug I wanted to show you. Sometimes you will see that it doesn't give you the little, what's it called, the view cube, but probably you can think of it as a compass, the thing you see there on the top right corner with the north, south, east and west. Sometimes that doesn't come up. And it's when you copy a viewport that it seems to disappear. So I'm going to go back to paper space, double clicking on the page, and I'm going to delete that viewport as well. And to make it work, all you need to do is just make a new viewport. So back to here, layout, rectangular, and I'll just click a couple of points like before to make my viewport. Change the viewport to the viewport layer. And actually while I'm at it, I can show you a couple of other things. The grip in the middle is a nice, easy thing you can use to move your whole viewport around. And then that little down arrow just sets the scale. But I don't find it's that useful to set the scale at this point, because before I do that, I need to go into the viewport and position my elevation so that it's in the right place so that I can set the scale. So I'm zooming and panning so that you can see what I've drawn. So what's the obvious thing we need to do to get that elevation? Exactly, we've got to rotate it. So do you remember the button for that? Yeah, excellent, great, yeah. So if you're remembering that, it's in this compass or view cube area, but it doesn't come up until you move your cursor there. So you've got to have that view cube, but then move your cursor up and to the right, and you'll see, it's hard to see, but there are two little arrows there, and they rotate the whole view. So clicking there, you can see it's rotated the right way, and then you can, zoom like before, position it, and afterwards set the scale to 150. It's pretty close to that already, and there we are. So back to the page and adjust the viewport accordingly. And now you might be tempted to copy the viewport to set up the next elevation, but again you'll get that problem with the view cube not appearing, so it's easier to simply make a new viewport for the next one. the right layer. Double click, and this time it'll be rotated the other way. I can't even see the button, there it is. And then I'll position the other elevation and set the scale. A couple other maybe just nice little things I can show you. The grids, I find, just get in the way quite often when you're working in these viewports. So you've got the button on the status bar to turn the grid on and off, so that's a nice thing. You can just toggle that off, and it's set for each viewport, so you can go into each one and turn the grid on or off separately. And that's enough. So
if you want them perfectly in line,
yeah, good. Okay, if you want to know that, yeah, I'll show you. Yes, pretty much, yeah. So I'll show you how to do it. So, but you've got the right idea. You're exactly right. So back onto the page. To line these up, I'm going to draw a line, just like you were saying, and I'll snap to the edge of my elevation on the top, and just bring that down and make sure it's a straight line, using ortho or polar. So I've got a straight line there. And then I'm going to select the viewport below that I want to move across, click the move button, and I can snap to the corner of my room, because that's the thing I want to line up, and bring that across and snap that to the line. And now they're exactly in line. It doesn't matter if the viewports aren't the same shape, because they're not going to show on the print anyway. But that will be exactly in line. There are a few other tricks, but that's probably the easiest way. So, yeah. So yeah, so it's good to see the line weights, and you can see I've got a long way to go on that elevation, but you can easily set it up on the page and then go back and add in more detail. Maybe I'll just do, what can I do? Oh, yep, the desk. So I know it's only a low height desk you're doing. It's, I think, 600, or is it 700 actually? Something like that. So let's put that line in so we can see something. I can go on the furniture layer, trim it back to the cupboard, and then the fridge goes in under that as well. But now back on the page, of course, we're going to see that in the viewport. So that's it. And so the only other thing that we need to do afterwards to finish off these pages, apart from maybe looking at the RCPs a little bit, there is one other thing you might have noticed on the cover sheet, on the floor plan page. You've got this table. And I'm going to show you the table tool. There is a tool, of course, in AutoCAD for making tables. I don't like it at all. I really can't stand using it because it's so clunky. And I use Excel all the time, and if you like using Excel, you'll find it really frustrating because Excel is a beautiful tool for making spreadsheets and tables, and AutoCAD isn't, basically. So I'll teach you the table tool and show you how to use it, but what I would do normally is just draw text and draw some lines around the text to make it look like a table. It's actually easier and quicker most of the time to do that. We'll have a look at that after. So that's it. And the table, again, if you wanted to start doing some text and draw some lines, that will do the job, but again, I'll show you the table tool afterwards. Unless you've got any other questions, that was all I wanted to do. Just make sure you can do the elevations.